Hey,
Hey,
how's it going?
it's great.
I like your shirt.
I like my shirt too. Do you know who else would like my shirt?
Who is someone who's on the shirt?
Probably Wes Borland would like it.
Is it Wes? Oh,
Hi.
Do you like my shirt, Wes?
I do. It's
Welcome
it's
to the studio.
classic.
We
You
have
probably paid way too much for that somewhere.
I
like
don't
a vintage
know.
shop.
I mean, no.
No?
It was not cheap,
Mm.
but I haven't seen another one like
Well, we are.
this.
So.
Welcome to Disrespectfully
With Katie Maloney.
and Dana Cathan.
Unapologetically.
We're here to do what we want to do.
Spilling the tea.
Babe, you're gonna see the power of women. Like,
Disrespectfully. Thanks for being here, Wes
Yeah,
Borland.
we haven't seen you in a long time.
I know it's been. I was trying to think about that. When
The show, I think, the Limp Bizkit show.
last summer.
That's August.
That was
Great.
one of the best nights of my life.
Oh,
We're gonna get
thanks.
into all that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't. If you don't know at home, you're silly goose, and you need to do some research. But Wes Borland, the guitarist for Limp Bizkit, it is such an honor to have you here.
It's a honor.
It's a honor.
Yeah.
The honor's mine.
Wes has been listening to a little Disrespectfully. He's part of the coven. We love so much a male coven
Oh, yeah.
member.
Mm.
They're
Yeah.
important. They're out there.
Exactly. Wes is probably our biggest male supporter, next to Nick now.
Yeah.
But he
But
was
you've had some other guys on the show. You had the wine bottle guy and the the
Large-
astrology guy.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
The Girthmaster.
I don't know that they
Yeah.
say listening.
Girthmaster is out there just not being in love with me, and it's just so upsetting. I'm such a fan from afar. I send him all the likes. Still love all his content. But yes,
Yeah,
the
you
wine
do.
bottle guy. I was actually explaining last night at Flora's birthday dinner to someone who had never heard of him, and I'm like, pull up the internet on your phone, please, about the wine bottle photo and
Right.
how that all started. Because people were like, oh, they were asking about the pod, and they're like, who's your first guest? And I was like, are you familiar with the Girthmaster? So what had happened was I was on the internet and I found this photo and I made everyone look at it. Could be a class action lawsuit.
And
we
she was
just
on
don't
the
know.
internet.
Yeah, I was on the internet, and that's how that started. So now we're here with you.
Mm.
Talented man in a different way.
Oh, yeah. Well, you never know.
We never
I don't
know.
We know. I think what's surprising, we'll just get right into it, that I found out that a lot of people don't know is actually how talented you are, because you do all of your stage costume.
I do.
All
So
of them.
yeah, when I went to a high school of the arts for like fame or whatever for sculpture, and I was going to be a painter. I was going to paint, but I liked the sculpture teacher better. He was this funny guy named Mr. Hatcher, and anything you asked him for, he'd go, "Oh, that's $2. Everything was $2." So I was like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna get yelled at by Miss Ebersol. I'm gonna go to Mr. Hatcher's class." So this will be a long story. So no,
We
I'm just-
love
I'm
long
gonna-
stories on this podcast, let me tell you.
No, so I was going to an art school, and we just moved. My dad was a Presbyterian minister, so we moved all over the place. I don't really have like a hometown. We were always moving around.
I didn't know that your dad was a minister.
Yeah.
That's great. So you were a very religious upbringing, I would imagine.
Yes, until I realized when I got older that I went, oh, this is like a fairy tale. But I also don't want to.
is real.
Yeah, none of this is real. But or I just like I've been fed these things that I don't necessarily align with science and everything. When you start looking into like how many times the Bible's been re-edited by the Romans or whoever else, or the King James version, whatever, I just started really questioning religion. Anyway, we just moved from Nashville to Jacksonville, Florida. There was a school of the arts there. He was at a new church, and that's what I wanted to do. Loved horror movies, loved science fiction movies, and sculpture was like, okay, this can naturally take me into doing creature effects or special effects in some way. And Adam Jones from Tool, who is a friend of mine, he worked for Stan Winston Studios before he started playing guitar in Tool, and that was his job. And then he moved over to that, and I was just like, oh, that's amazing. He worked on like Alien and Terminator and all those movies. But
What?
The more you know.
God, we're so untalented. There's so many talented
And then
people
you're
around
like,
us.
but I'm also like a sick musician. So
well,
like,
the band thing was second. Like I always I never thought that was gonna.
Did you play guitar for
anywhere.
church?
No,
Grant? No. Okay.
I had to be in the choir, but I just mouthed the words because I just stood there and went and didn't sing because I hated it. But Limp Bizkit was sort of made up of all the people in bands who had gone on to do other things. Like they were like, I don't want to do this. I want to go work for my dad's lawn business, or basically moving on. We were the remnants of bands that were in town that kind of still wanted to try.
you were like the discarded pieces.
Yeah,
Aw.
discarded. Well, no, we were like the only remaining thing. Everything
Okay, you
else
weren't
had
discarded.
fallen
You were
away.
just the leftovers.
Correct.
Sorry.
The leftovers. But
Island
Fred,
of Misfit Toys.
Yeah. My band had played with Fred's band, and my band was a 3-piece, and I was like the singer, guitar player. And then I saw Fred, and I was like, that's the best frontman I've ever seen in my life. Like, I remember the first time I ever saw him and was just blown away.
Mm-hmm.
What year was that?
Like 94.
Wow.
Damn.
I just turned 50. I'm old.
Dana was a baby.
Yeah. I
was probably jamming out though.
I'm old enough to be your dad.
Probably.
Yeah.
I'd say
Wait,
you
were born
do
in
not look 50. That is so crazy to me.
91?
90.
90.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys meet, you form this band.
He started picking everybody from these other bands.
Okay.
And I went to the drummer, John, was a percussionist at my school. So we know each other through that. And then Sam and John's families, they were those families that you grow up together and call each other cousins, even though you're not.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was that kind of a thing. And Fred just started grabbing these people, and he was calling labels and just acting like our manager, just going, just full of and calling people. And because Fred is incredibly talented in just like getting what he wants out of people. He's so good at the way he controls a crowd. Like, and he's just very charismatic and very,
he is.
Yeah. And he would do that. We would like fax the radio station. We would bother them all the time and, call. And this is the days where you have to actually print out a bunch of flyers and go hand them out. So we were having shows and going to all the high schools and like hitting the high schools as they were coming out of school with flyering all the cars. Before that was just like an online thing. Now you can, you can just go, we have a show on my Instagram.
Yeah.
I know.
But I put a hurting on my dad's printer. Just like, he would like everything would be gone out of it. Would just be exhausted. But also my brother and my dad always wondered why our whipped cream bottles were always flat. He was like, these things always go flat. My brother would go,
You're like
making copies, sucking whippets out of the.
Yeah, I mean, it was the 90s. We love a whippet moment.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but
Wait, so when you guys first formed, how quickly into that did you start doing the mask? Because from the origin, like, were you always dressing up like that, or how did that become a thing?
It started little by little. Like I just thought the stage was like a missed opportunity to not do something and we were sort of on the tail end of the grunge thing was happening, where everybody just looked like a slob and was, up and doing the Seattle thing. And I was just like, I don't want to do that.
I'm from Seattle.
Well, no. I mean, that obviously I love the whole grunge thing, but it was just moving on to, like, we were super influenced by, the rock and rap things that had begun. Like, I think it was like Aerosmith and Run DMC were one of the first. Then the Judgment Night soundtrack. Do you guys remember that movie?
No.
Mm-mm.
There's a movie called Judgment Night where they took hip hop groups and rock groups and made them do songs. The whole soundtrack is just like a mix of it's like Helmet and House of Pain doing a song, and that was super influential. But anyway, back to the original beginning of this line of thought. Sorry, I have real bad ADHD.
You're in good company.
Okay.
This is a safe space.
After the band got signed, which I never thought it would, I was like, oh, I'm going to put art school on hold, and I'll just, do this for a couple of years and then get my portfolio together and go back to art school. And it never ended. We've been a band for 30 years now, and it's just
what a shame.
Going. Yeah, some people would think, what a shame.
No,
like,
I'm kidding.
Thanks for Limp Bizkit. But
like, you never got your art school thing.
But I did get to work with some other artists and learn from them.
I'm totally.
Yeah, I know you are.
So what's crazy is I am one of the people that until we went to your show over the summer, I did not know you made everything. I was like, you whittled that? What the? That's very cool and admirable and amazing marriage of something that you happen to be talented before you were ever a musician that you still get to do and bring to the stage is amazing.
Well, I think I've always been of the mind that if you aren't great at something, but you're good at like many things, or you're kind of good at many things, if you combine them, you can sort of, because I was in plays and liked acting. I went to clown school one summer and learned how to juggle and walk on stilts and do all that and take a fall, how to fall and make it look like it hurts, but it doesn't. I was just always interested in all these different things.
I kind of went to clown school. It was called college, and I fucked a bunch of losers. But so same, but
I
different.
met a lot of clowns.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait, you did do like a little fall. It popped up on my Instagram from, I don't know, some account. You were You were presenting at the VMAs, I think.
Oh yeah.
And Heather Locklear was on stage, and you got up and you were like about to say something, and then you just like faint.
Yeah. Yeah, I fainted. I did that one year, and then I sang an Iron Maiden song the next year.
Mm-hmm.
September 9th, 2001.
I'm actually because we would need to talk about 9/11. I was waiting to ask you this specific story until we were here. So I had heard that you guys recorded your music video for Rollin' on the top of which tower was it?
The one with the one without the spire.
So South Tower. I know way too much about 9/11. Okay. I spent a lot of time on this at 3 a.m.
How are you sleeping these days?
You know, it's a little hit or miss. Depends on what I have on my bed. I would say that's a really important component here.
Yeah, because bed chemistry, not including with another person, but just in general, like everything has to come together and work together. Otherwise, it ain't happening.
No. It ain't happening.
Building that space is so critical to sleep.
And if you really want to change the way you sleep, you need to upgrade to Boll and Branch's 100% organic cotton sheets. You'll fall asleep faster with a luxurious softness that puts you in instant relaxation mode. You'll spend every night in buttery, breathable comfort and feel your sheets getting softer with every wash. It's like a reward. Discover the difference with Boll and Branch's 30-night guarantee.
Oh, I'm getting sleepy thinking about these sheets. You guys, these sheets are truly incredible. The quality is immediately noticeable and has completely changed the way I sleep. I'm like a little baby, one of the quiet ones that people actually love.
Yeah, those ones. Those specific babies.
And they just keep getting softer after every single wash. I never want to get out of bed again.
Me every day.
Every day. Boll and Branch products are made different so you can sleep better at night. Woven with the finest 100% organic cotton on earth and created by artisans who earn the pay and respect they deserve.
Their signature hem sheet sets, amazing. They have designs and colors for every bedroom style, and mattress size are all seasoned with breathable, unmatched softness and are the perfect foundation for Boll and Branch's airy bed blankets, cloud-like duvets, and so much more.
And you think it can't get better? You'd be wrong.
You'd be wrong.
You'd be wrong, because with a 30-night worry-free guarantee, you can try Boll and Branch sheets for an entire month. Seriously, you can wash, style, and feel the difference for yourself risk-free. And if they somehow don't change the way you sleep, just send them back for a full refund.
Now's your chance to change the way you sleep with Boll and Branch. Get 15% off plus free shipping on your first set of sheets at bollandbranch.com/disrespectfully. That's Boll and Branch, BOLLAND branch.com/disrespectfully to save 15% off. Exclusions apply. See site for details.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. We often hear about the red flags we should avoid, but what if we focus more on looking for green flags in friends and partners?
If you're not sure what they look like, therapy can help you identify green flags, actively practice them in your relationships, and embody the green flag energy yourself.
Whether you're dating, married, building a friendship, or just working on yourself, it's time to form relationships that love you back.
Yeah, and therapy has been like the backbone of my adult life. Without it, I do not know where I'd be. Can't recommend it enough to everyone.
I really feel like it should be mandatory for every single person alive.
Even when I'm doing well, I stay in therapy because it benefits you.
Well, yeah, because does. I think even during the times you feel like you're winning, like you need to be able to recognize and understand the way you're feeling and how it's affecting your life and in those moments, as opposed to when everything is down and gloomy.
It's year round. It's not seasonal.
Exactly.
BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable and convenient, serving over 5 million people worldwide. Access to a diverse network of more than 30,000 credited therapists with a wide range of specialties. Easily switch therapists anytime at no extra cost.
Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/disrespectfully today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/disrespectfully.
So you were on the South Tower and you guys do this music video. And when did it air? When did it originally air? Or did it?
So we won VMA for it in 2001, but that's when Fred and I went. They were just like, come out. We were like, we're not going. And then they're like, come out, you're going to win. So just come out. They were like, okay. So Fred and I flew out to accept the award. And our flight was, the show was either like the 7th, 8th, or 9th. I don't remember. It was right in there. It must have been the 7th because we flew back on the 9th. And,
Wow.
And our manager at the time he also managed Backstreet Boys, and he was on one of the flights that crashed. He had a ticket on it, and he went a day early and went back on Backstreet Boys jet back to LA. It was just like, it was kind
of like Mark Wahlberg, that he was supposed to be on the Boston flight and he ended up driving.
Is that is that a story? Okay.
Yeah, he was supposed to be on one of the flights, and the day of, he decided to drive somewhere, or it was the flight coming back, going to LA, I think. And he decided to drive somewhere and missed it, which is so crazy.
Yeah, it's so weird to have been there. And what was sad is the video, I think we shot it in like late 2000 or early 2001. And it was an all-night shoot, and they had a flipping helicopter, and it was flying around. The video starts going past the Statue of Liberty, and the helicopter comes into the World Trade Center, one shot, and we're already playing. But like between takes, there were guys working on the spire on the other tower who were like shouting to us all night, and like laughing or cracking up, just being cool. And the whole staff on the top floor would hang out with us. There was catering all night, and just, craft services. And when we won, they wrote us like a great letter and all signed it and everything. And I don't know if they all worked on the top floor. So.
Okay. Well, and also I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard that you guys got that letter like the day after 9/11. Like it arrived to you right around that time, or was it earlier than that?
I don't totally exactly remember when we got it, but it was it was devastated so many people, and I got nothing to complain about for sure. But it was just because they took Roland right off the air.
I was gonna say, did they pull it? I'm assuming. Yeah,
of course.
But super wild.
Anyway.
My world. I know. Oh, I love to depress people on this podcast. Let me tell you,
she brings it down.
I bring it down, and then just so we can bring it back up. Let me tell you. Anyway, what's something fun?
Well, no, but I still have another question about your stage outfits, because how many would you say you've created over the years?
I don't know.
Ballpark.
Over 100 for sure. Because I used to do multiple. I used to work with two people, or more than two people, but my friend Adele Mildred, who's a great millinerist, I guess. Is that how you say someone who makes hats? It's millinery.
I don't know.
Anyway, that's such a fancy fucking word.
I know that
a
shoe person is a cobbler.
Oh, I know.
I like eating cobbler.
I used the word cobbler one time, and somebody laughed in my face. They were like, "Where are you from? 1812?"
That's what they're called.
I know, but
well, I'm gonna laugh at you for chicken milanesa or whatever the fuck you just
chicken
called that
milanesa.
hat lady. I don't know her, but
I used to work with her, and then I worked with another woman named Terry King, who worked with Trent Reznor a lot and a bunch of other folks for making stage clothes, and she passed away recently. So and then I've worked with special effects companies to do like electronics, things I can't like get. Some electronics that are simple I can get my head around, like LEDs and stuff, but they're like in 2013 I was wearing this whole outfit that had like an Arduino computer that I had to wear on my back that had fans in it, that had a button that like controlled all these different light cycles, and it was wild. But
you have to like commit to that for an entire tour.
Yeah, is
it one per tour?
Usually one per tour. I used to do several per tour, but I was just like, this is ridiculous. I'm just gonna like do one per tour, and right now I have two that I'm gonna break up. I'm gonna do one at the beginning of the year, then I'll switch over to the second one for later, probably the Metallica shows that we have coming up this summer.
So cool.
And we're confirmed for some festivals that I can't talk about yet, but because they haven't been announced.
Secret.
Okay, well, you'll tell us off air just so we can know. I can't wait to hear. Wait, where are you guys touring this year?
We're doing Loserville in Europe.
In Europe.
We leave no Corey Feldman, but we're adding some other people.
Shame.
Yeah, I don't think the Europeans will get Corey Feldman like the Americans did.
I don't think Americans get him.
Did
they love it?
They were like, "You go, Corey."
Yeah, but I don't think anyone was like, "This is great." I think people were like, "This is hilarious. We're laughing at him, not with him." Kind of thing.
You know what? Who knows?
Did were you guys buddies?
You're too nice.
You and Corey?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, he was like, he just went everywhere, and kind of like he was filming a documentary the whole time. So
I must have missed that one. I wonder if it came out.
You're probably in it.
I probably am in it.
No, we were trying to dodge his camera when he had it out. We're like,
no, that was a wild experience. Also, so we talked about this. That was an interesting evening when we came to your show in San Bernardino. Getting to, what do you call it, Guitar World?
Guitar World is like the area.
Yeah, the little area. You saying it
backstage.
That was like I loved that perspective of getting to see. And you guys have such rowdy, great crowds. Me and Flo really wanted to get in the mosh pit, but it was going to be hard to come back.
It's also there's some time like that would have been safe for you to do, but there's some shows that I'm just like don't go.
Totally.
Like Woodstock 99.
We had a worse one than that where we had a girl die at a show in Sydney.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
but
we are so depressing today, but I need to hear wait, so what was the like comparison in terms of Woodstock for that show? Like how bad what
have
went
you
off
seen those videos?
Yeah.
We didn't like for Woodstock for us it was just like normal, like we were doing our show. I've watched the documentary, like the most recent one that came out where the guy says like if you invite a bear into he was like, it's not Limp Bizkit's fault. They were just doing their normal show. It's the environment that created like the dynamite keg of what happened, you know? And also the way the media spun it, like Woodstock's burning down and that's us playing break stuff. And then the fires that happened the next day. They were like intercutting that footage together.
Media, man.
So
is that the same festival or show where the guy from Insane Clown Posse tried to like kick Fred?
Oh no, that happened recently. That was like 2018 when that happened.
Why did I think that was a long time ago?
No, that was.
See,
well, 2018 is a long time ago.
I blame headlines and media because they're talking about Woodstock and then
wait, what happened? I don't know this story. Tell me.
We were just playing a show and he like the singer, one of the guys from Insane Clown
jumps
Posse,
up and tries to kick him.
And then our crew and them got in a whole brawl. And then it was this whole thing that it happened on the other side of the stage. I didn't even know this was happening. So
you're just like jamming out, having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
So for the Woodstock thing, Fred, I'm pretty sure in the videos I saw came out and was like, they're telling me to tell you to calm down, but that's not my vibe. Is that an accurate description, or do you feel like you guys were trying to like temperature control?
I feel like we were trying to temperature control, not as much as we were in Sydney. That was the most horrific thing I've ever seen in Sydney. But at Woodstock, you're so far away from the audience because there's like press and then there's the camera that's on tracks like that runs back and forth across the stage, and then there's photographers past that, and then a huge gap, and then the crowd. So the crowd's like, you know, we're 60, 70 feet away from the first barricade.
Right.
And we're just, there's like every single celebrity that like at the time that I could think of was like watching in the sides of the stage. So I'm just like, whoa, that's, and then try not to like think about that and how like, I don't know, just how weird it was. Kind of the whole thing was surreal. And the only thing you could really do was smell the crowd.
That's unfortunate.
Did it smell like space? Walk us through the odor. What were we smelling? Was it raspberries and burnt tire and
it was like
marijuana?
More like BO and urine.
No.
Which, by the way, Wes smelled the space perfume and he likes it.
That was fine.
Okay.
He's like, I like it.
Well, that's a choice. Interesting.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Fleur and Alie are gagging. They're like, it smells like pee.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. But I mean, I get, he's been through Woodstock, so now
I think eucalyptus smells like pee a little bit, like cat pee.
Yeah,
I love eucalyptus.
Yeah, well, just right when it's really fresh, because Alie buys it for the showers.
Eucalyptus.
She like puts it up in our shower, and right when she brings it in, I'll walk by the kitchen, and I'm like, is that cat pee?
It's a bit earthy.
I love when people do that. I'm like, that's so luxe. I love when I walk in a shower and there's eucalyptus. I'm like, is someone going to walk out and beat me with this? Is like
I try to be that girl, and then I leave it in my shower, and
it dries up and goes all over the place.
It's really quick. So back to this Woodstock. So what do you think, looking back, it was that specifically got so out of control? Was it the crowd size versus the resources they had to control that was too limited? Like what happened that went so awry?
I think that you have a bunch of pissed off people who are paying way too much for water that they're running out of. The ATMs were running out of money. You know, and a lot of this stuff I found out. I did not know the assaults and the rape stuff that was going on until I watched the documentary, like the last one that came out.
I didn't know about that.
I must not have seen the whole documentary. I must have just seen. I mostly am on TikTok, so that makes sense.
Because I mean, it turned into like mob mentality, like wild animal people behavior, especially when they started burning things and like looting trucks and everything. It's just people are insane.
Well, when I look at those big crowds, actually, I think you were in, like, I'm stalking you, the Lollapalooza last year, or was it?
Was that 2021?
That huge crowd,
everyone
jumping.
Yeah, the one in Brazil. I thought you meant the Chicago.
Sorry,
one.
Brazil, where they're all like jumping, and it's like cool to see. But then for someone who goes to a lot of shows, I think this was Coachella. It was Blink at Coachella like 2 years ago. I think this next weekend they ended up putting them on the main stage because they had them at the Sahara tent. So we're all like bottlenecked kind of coming in. And then right when they started, there was a crowd surge and we just all went completely forward. And I'm claustrophobic. So whenever I see those big crowds and the people in the very center, I'm like, how do you enjoy that? We ended up squeezing out and we were ended up being next to a fence and we got on top of the fence and then we ended up we're like, hey, we have to stay here until these people disperse. So scary. It's terrifying. Like I was like, if you fall down right when this happens, when everyone moves, it's like, what do you do?
That's what happened in Australia. The festival was called the Big Day Out and we were talking to them. It was one of those festivals where there's 2 stages next to each other. And usually nowadays you have what's called a T barricade, which is you'll see like the barricade has a T going out and that's to help like
throw people over if they need to get
out. Not only
center,
throw people over, but it creates like a wedge that sort of like makes the crowd disperse to the sides instead of putting pressure on the middle of the barricade. And it gives the barricade some rigidity. And then there's another thing called a wave break. Well, they'll put a second barricade out that divides the crowd, sometimes more than one, to where the crowd cannot get the pressure from the back of the crowd can't go forward to the front of the crowd. And so they have to go around that barricade that goes all the way through the middle of the crowd. And the Big Day Out just had one single barricade going across the front with nothing like that. And these shows that we played changed the way they do things in Australia. Now they do all these security things where they do barricade structure differently and security differently. But we kept telling them every day, we're like, this is getting more and more dangerous. And they were like, we've had Rage Against the Machine. This is not a big deal. And we're like, our crowds this is bad. Like it's getting worse every show. And then Sydney was so bad.
How many people, put in perspective, do you know how many people were there? Like
it's like between 80 and 150,000 people, maybe more, putting pressure on one single barricade.
Yeah.
And there's just there's no amount of like strength of one barricade going across that can stop the force of that many people. So the barricade, every security guard's hanging on the barricade, pushing forward. And it's like, there's 80,000 people out there. You're not going to fight 80,000 people, but people kept going down. We stopped playing like 5 times and just had to take a break and go, please stop. But I remember this guy came out of the crowd, this guy with long hair and a beard, and he was Donald Ducking it. He had no pants on, just swinging member. And he had an acoustic guitar in a case. And I remember him throwing it up on stage and it just like bounced and opened up. And I was like, that was weird. And then people just started dropping. That was just like a weird little blip of that show. I was just like, okay. But yeah, the people were fainting and the pressure was just too much and they were passing out. But I remember when they pulled her out, she was just gone.
Was it a trampling situation or
yeah, it was a pressure. But she was 16. Her name was Jessica McKellich.
That's amazing you remember that.
Yeah, it's probably one of the reasons why I took a step back from the band in 2001. I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore.
No.
Boy, this is a depressing episode.
Well,
Disrespect.
Well, and honestly, again.
He's like, hey, I read this really depressing thing. Let's talk about it.
Well, you know what? Let's talk about Astroworld. I'm curious, the Astroworld Fest, because I think it was like 11 people died. Just because you have that perspective, what do you think happened there? Because it feels like it was a lack of, they were not prepared for the crowd. And obviously, Travis Scott is known for getting his crowd as rowdy as possible. What do you think it was? Like a resource thing or?
I've watched a little bit of that. And I know that I don't know anything about Travis Scott, but I heard that he was approached to stop the show and he didn't.
Yeah,
and I think
also
we're so sensitive about it now. If we see anything, we stop.
Yeah.
We just, no, we'll stop. And anyone in the band can see anything and you just see everyone stop. Like all 5 of us, because we know what's up. And we know like when we see something going south and we make sure they're okay. Because we can stop at any time because we're not on a click or a grid. Some bands play to tracks and we have never done that because we like to extend and improvise and stop if there's something going down, that's bad. But
how? Because I mean, you're on the stage. This is a unique perspective. What is the visibility? Like, is it pretty easy to spot when something's going wrong in the crowd, or do you feel like it's difficult?
Well, yeah, because I feel like people start looking, and it's like becomes like a sort of like a just.
Well, people will get your attention too. You'll see people like fear on somebody's face, and they're like waving or going like that, you know, asking you to stop. But and we'll do it quick. We never want anything like that to happen again.
Yeah.
So
totally.
Well, anywho,
let's. How do we bring this thing up?
So stage costumes. So I started because I never got to go to art school. I started incorporating stage costumes like into what I did on stage, and I kept trying to top myself. And then I realized the longer it took me to get ready, the more I could miss out on interviews or meet and greets.
Oh wow!
And the longer it took me to be done after the show, so I didn't have to talk to anybody. So it was just like, oh, I'm in my process. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't see anyone. I can't do that interview. I can't do that meet and greet. Oh, the band management wants to bring these label reps in. I'm like, oh, I can't. Sorry, I'm
creative.
I'm creative.
I'm just
getting
a
ready.
baby.
So I'm literally just.
But yeah, I just kept trying to top it, do different things, try to different things, be more and more alien, and then I'll have to like bring it down and just do makeup for a while, and then I'll start, bringing it back up again.
Where do you just see something like on TV or in a painting or out in the world, and you're like, that's my inspo?
Yes. So it's just like looking at everything, trying to collect little bits of information from other things, steal ideas, put them all together, juxtapose things against each other and combine things so that you can't tell what exactly I'm taking it from, because I try to change it enough in the corporate. All you have to do is like, you can rip anybody off you want. You just got to do like 5 people and then combine it all together, and then it makes a new thing. So
was there ever a watershed moment for you where you were like, holy shit, we're an extremely famous, successful band? Like, how long were you guys grinding before that happened, and what was that moment for you?
It wasn't very long.
Your guys' success?
It happened pretty quickly. We did a couple of regional tours. Fred and I have had a interesting history of trying to get along with each other up until like the last 7 years. And now we're awesome. But it took like us really growing up, because egos and just like different ideas of what the band should be.
Yeah.
But right before we got signed, I was like, no, I don't want to do this. And went back like working at a coffee shop, and they got different guitar players and sort of reformed the band. They got signed. I'm out. My brother was originally in Limp Bizkit too on keyboards, and he was like, if you're not doing it, I'm not doing it. But young and stupid and just like, knuckleheaded people, not being adults. They got signed, bought a van and trailer, drove out to LA to start making their record without me, without my brother, and at DJ Lethal's house, who was in house paying at the time he was going to produce. And the guy driving, one of their friends, I kind of knew him a little bit too, but in the middle of Texas, flipped the van, went off the road, flipped the van. Everybody, like Fred's feet went through a window, destroyed. Everybody was cut to ribbons. The guitar player flew out of the window. They showed up in LA. They were in the hospital, showed up in LA on crutches, like to start recording. And the people in LA that were doing the record were like, what is happening? Then the guitar players in the middle of the night stole all the gear, all the guitar gear, and rented a car and drove back to Florida. And then it was just like, they started calling me and going like, do you want to do this again? I'm like, no. No, I don't want any part of it, being stubborn. And then they went to New York and were trying to record in New York with some people. And I finally just went, yeah, I'll come up to New York and we'll try. And that's when we started writing the first record. So it's been wild. When I think, I don't think about like the old days, but how many terrible and weird things happened to get us where we were.
What a fucking journey. You went to MTV Spring Break, which is something really important to Dana and I.
Okay.
Super important to us.
What was it like?
It was our dream. We were like throwing cheeks at home.
We were 12.
When we were, like 5 years old, being like, this is who I want to be in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Was it as good as it looked? Because it looked really fun.
I don't know. We did Fashionably Loud and we did Spring Break, and I'm not sure which one was which.
I think it was the time that you blew the boat up.
That was either one was in Jamaica, the other was in the Bahamas.
You know, I don't know. They all look the same.
They all look the same.
Blew a boat up. What did you do?
They're all sexy
It
people
wasn't
on a
really
beach.
a big boat. It was like a small
Yeah,
boat
like a
that
little
was sort of
off
that they
shore.
just it was pretty silly.
for like intentionally, like
Yeah.
more
Yeah,
than
yeah.
okay, got it.
We were playing on a stage with a bunch of people, and then the boat was in the background. It was really silly, but it blew up. But I just remembered. So we had like 2 singles that came out that didn't do well. Didn't really hit, and then Faith came out,
Mhm.
and we made a terrible video for Faith. And then Fred was like, "We're trashing this. We're gonna do like a Motley Crue style tour video that shows us like our footage on tour." And he brought a film crew out, and the video was just us on tour. Like, and I think the combination of doing the cover of Faith and people seeing actually what the shows were like, that's when it really hit. And that's the
What
first
year was
time.
this?
God, it was we were recording our second record at the time when Faith came out. We were just that was just like the last ditch to see if we could get any traction. Yeah, you're gonna look up.
I'm gonna give
it
it a goog.
What is it like being a famous musician? It looks pretty cool. Is it as good as it looks? Like people are like, I want to be a rock star. Like, what's that like?
There are ups and downs.
It was 1997. by the way.
1997. Okay, we were in recording our. Oh, that's when the spring break thing was.
I don't know. That's when Faith came out.
Oh, when Faith came out. Okay, 97. I don't know. I mean, that's kind of a big question. I mean, I've been. There's one tour where we were in Europe and we split a plane with Korn. So it was us.
know how
Are
I
you
feel
still
about
friends?
Korn.
You guys are
Yeah.
buddies? Okay, great.
Yeah.
Because we just saw them in October. I had a great
Okay,
time.
We-
great. No,
Love Korn.
John Davis is a really good friend of mine. But,
Tell him we say hi.
I will. Maybe he'll do the podcast.
Maybe he'll go on the pod.
Yeah.
That'd be
I would
great.
faint. Anyway, continue.
I just remember we it's all the bands and all this crew on this Air Force One sort of private plane, and I was going like, I can't. This is crazy. And then we landed in Portugal, and then 1 hour after landing, we have no keys to the hotel. I'm sitting on a curb. There's rats running down the street, and I was just like, this is what it's like. You're 1 second you're on a big private plane eating caviar. And the next second, you're like slumming in the street with nowhere to be.
So it keeps you humble. Ish.
Hot girls sometimes have a little odor and discharge with your vagina. It just happens.
All people with a vagina do.
All people with vagina do, and there's such a stigma around it.
Well, yeah, because
I'm
no
so
one wants to talk
over
about
it.
it because listen, there can be discomfort. Yeah, whenever you're talking some kind of body odor, especially like not understanding how common it is, and also it doesn't mean that you're like not clean or you don't take care of yourself. It just happens, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Sometimes vaginas are angry elves. Luckily, there's OPositiv. OPositiv is a women's health company that offers a range of symptom-targeting supplements that support people at every stage of life, from their first period to well beyond their last. They create real, tangible results with ingredients that are backed by clinical studies and shaped by board-certified doctors.
OPositiv is committed to breaking down stigmas and addressing issues many women experience: hormone health, vaginal health, menopause, and so much more. And their Euro is a probiotic blend specifically formulated to support vaginal health by balancing healthy vaginal pH, supporting healthy vaginal smell, and maintaining healthy vaginal flora.
Urovaginal Probiotic is a blend of 4 powerful strains of lactobacillus probiotics backed by research showing these strains support healthy vaginal odor, vaginal pH, and flora. In addition, Euro contains prebiotics that increase the effectiveness of the probiotics, which is so cute.
With just 2 capsules per day, Euro delivers noticeable benefits within 8 weeks. Many see results sooner, and so many customers talk about how the improvement in vaginal health led to greater confidence as well as better sex and intimacy, because that's important.
It sure is. Take proactive care of your health and head to opositiv.com/DRF or enter DRF at checkout for 25% off your first purchase. That's opositiv.com/DRF for 25% off. You know, it's a crazy statistic. And it's this podcast, so it could be anything. But there are over 10,000 chemicals that have entered our U.S. food supply, yet the EU limits it to just 300 additives. That's gross and debilitating. You think I have time to sift through ingredient labels? I'm on TikTok to see what's in my food. No, I'm living, I'm laughing, I'm loving. I am doom scrolling,
Yeah, you are.
obviously. which is why I love using Thrive Market.
Thrive Market makes it so easy to find better options without the hassle. One of my favorite features is the Healthy Swaps scanner in the Thrive Market app. It's simple, scan any item, and it instantly suggests cleaner, healthier grocery alternatives. The best part, everything gets delivered right to my door. I love a delivery.
You love a delivery.
I love it. And I get savings on every order. Saving money and not having to leave the house to do it. Call me Nicolas Cage because this is a dream scenario.
Do you know what's another thing I love? Thrive Market's Smart Cart feature. It takes all the stress out of replacing junk food. When you create an account, Thrive Market asks the right questions and automatically builds a grocery cart tailored to your needs, filled with healthier alternatives to your favorite brands. From there, you can just add, adjust, or remove items before checking out. Bada bing, bada boom.
Ready for a junk-free start to 2025? Head to thrivemarket.com/disrespectfully and get 30% off your first order plus a free $60 gift. You're going to get delivery, you're going to get gifts, you're going to save money. That's THRIVE market.com/disrespectfully. thrivemarket.com/disrespectfully.
Method Man told me he goes, bro, always carry your own bag. He goes, never let these people carry your bag.
Oh yeah, you've told me about that. You guys have a really small crew when you are on tour.
We didn't this last time. We had to double our crew because we needed riggers and carpenters, because when you go into those amphitheaters that Live Nation owns, they have nothing. They're bare. There's no PA, nothing.
Okay.
So every day, and I watched them one morning. I got up early because there's not usually anything for me to do until like 1 or 2 o'clock. So I'm sleep as long as I can because I got to be up all night. But I got up and watched them doing it. I was like, you guys do this every day? It was bananas. So, but our usual crew is about 11 people when we don't have riggers and carpenters and all the people that have to do all that stuff.
Yeah, which for like the type of shows you're playing is like probably really small.
Yeah, we try to be as slim as possible so
you can make as much money as possible.
So we come home with as much money as possible. Because I know some bands who are like, we need to feel like rock stars in order to do our job. And I'm just like,
you're like, I like money.
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
I want to put it in my savings account for when I'm not doing this, you know?
No kidding.
They're like, no, we need all this and this and this. And this is what there's like, I don't know, I've never been that kind of person. I don't know. I've always treated this like, not like I guess like a job. You know, it's not like, I don't like people catering to me. I like just doing the work. I think that's why I spend so much time on stage costumes, because whenever I do side projects, I do everything myself. I tech myself, I drive, you know, and I always have liked doing side projects because it's like we're in a van, I'm sleeping on a motel floor, you know, doing things for the love of music. I don't know if I think I'm done doing that because I did that a lot in my 30s and my 40s. Mostly in my 30s, I had another band called Blacklight Burns that we put out 4 records and toured a lot. When the first record came out, we did 3 loops of the U.S., just like 1, 2, 3. Played everything like for over 4 months, and that stuff feels more real than when you get to a level to where you just like walk in and all your stuff's set up. Like tours go by faster, especially if you're driving, if you're in a van or a Sprinter, and you're working all day. They just fly by. And you also in a van, you can go wherever you want. You can go like, let's go check this out on a day off, you know.
Whereas, otherwise sometimes you're at those venues in the middle of buttfuck nowhere and you're like, so I guess we're just hanging out. It's kind of like camping. I've only done a little mini stint on the road, and I was like, this just feels a little bit like camping. You just got to sort of like.
Were you in a van or a bus?
It was a bus.
Okay. Did you have your own bunk?
No. I like literally shared him with Nick. Luckily, he's not like a huge guy. So like,
well, that's no matter what, being in a bunk with somebody is not the best.
It was romantic.
Yeah, but then your arms stuck sideways and you're trying to squish.
Oh yeah, no, I was wrecked. But you know, it was a time. You can only probably do it like a couple nights. I went like when they had days off, so it was fine.
I prefer European buses because there's way more bunks.
They're different. It's like 2-story. Yeah, and if I don't know.
There's 3 different hangout areas. There's top floor has one in the front, one in the back, and then the bottom has like a small galley and then like a little living room, and then the bunks, instead of usually like for a band, bunks can be set up for 8 or 12 because they're stackable. They can
they're
change
like 2
the height.
or 3, right?
Yeah, condo bunks is when they're when you just put them to where there's 8 and you can do them anyway. But European bunks they're smaller, but there's way more of them. So you have like everybody gets their own junk bunk, put their luggage in. Because if not, you're cramming your bags, in your own bunk, or like a bag, like a bus bag. It has your toiletries and just like a change of whatever, iPad, stuff like that.
Do you still have fun doing what you're doing? Like, is it a blasty blast or combo things? It's
definitely the early days were mind-boggling. Like the first time we had a bus, I was just like, this is crazy. And we were filming everything, and because I didn't know how long it was going to last, but I was 21 when we started. Our drummer and bass player were 19.
Wow.
The first tours.
Crazy.
Yeah. And then Fred's the oldest. He was 25 or 26. And then Lee's like, I don't know, between Fred and I. I don't know how old.
That's young.
But,
So imagine your mind is just blown. At what point does like the novelty like wear off and you start looking at it like this is just a job? This is what I go do.
Not really. I feel lucky every day that I get to still do this, because I look at other people who are in the arts who are still like our friend Andrea is really successful fashion photographer, and she's like she's living completely off of her career is just photography now. She doesn't have to do anything on the side.
Yeah.
And I love when people get to the point where they can just their art, because you'll see bands on some of these, like the mid bands that you see that are kind of in the middle of a festival, like lineup, that are playing like, at 5:00. Those people have square jobs when they come home. They're like out doing, like, people who are signed will come back and do a job when they're home, because they can't just afford to.
Yeah, it's hard to make it your full. I mean, just trying to sit here and yap for a
Spotify.
living. No,
Spotify.
Yeah, no, fuck Spotify. I'm an Apple Music girl.
Yeah, they're not great either, but they're the best.
But they're better than Spotify.
They really are.
Put it that way.
In terms of what?
It's paying artists.
Artists.
Yeah. Because you can have like millions of plays and get pennies for it. It's just, and they're taking all the money.
All the money.
Have you ever had, because you've had moments where there's contention in the band you fought, have you ever had moments where you were like, we are never going to recover from this? Or was it always like, you guys, it's like fight, normal, and you were able to come back from it? Or were you ever like, holy shit, our band is not able to function?
I think that like when I left the band for a while in 2001, and I learned a lot about myself. I learned that I had gigantic ego, even though I didn't think I had a giant ego.
Was that when you played with Further Seems Forever?
With who?
Was it Further?
From First to Last?
Oh, First to Last. I'm like,
that was during that time
from
period.
First to Last.
Yeah.
It's too much of a shame that these names are all so similar. And that's what what's his fucking name? Skrillex.
Sonny, yeah.
Yeah.
He was the singer.
From First to Last?
Sonny was the singer from First to Last. I played bass on their second record and toured with them just for fun, because I didn't have anything to do at the moment, and played bass on tour, and it was cool because nobody knew who I was. So it was just, playing with these guys.
Nobody knew who you were?
Not really.
In 2000, I
2005.
would have spotted you a million miles away, but like, I know that guy.
But I dressed completely different and didn't wear...
Okay.
I just wore underwear on stage and combat boots. But Sonny was having like vocal cord, he has polyps kept growing on his vocal cords, and he would have to cancel shows, cancel tours. And he's one of those guys that could pick up any instrument and just start playing it. And guitar, piano, sit down at the drums and sound like a drummer. Instead of just like, oh, I'm a drummer, I'm playing drums, he can actually, you're like, oh, you can tell somebody's really good at playing drums. I remember Danny Lohner, who's one of my best friends, he was in 9 Inch Nails during the Downward Spiral and the Fragile eras. Danny and I were working on the Underworld soundtrack around 2003. And then after that, we were working on like some other movies.
Wait, is it with Kate Beckinsale? Underworld?
Yeah, with Kate Beckinsale. Yeah.
She's on our daddy list, but I love the great movie.
Yeah.
Great soundtrack.
We never did Daddy List, by the way.
I know, we should probably get to it at some point.
No, but Danny and I we'd seen Sonny do some different things after From First to Last. And around 2006, Danny goes, have you heard Sonny's working on like electronic music? It's pretty fucking good. And I went, really? And didn't think much of it. But then all of a sudden I saw like on a YouTube, some like Japanese girls playing violin covering one of his songs, and I was like, wait, what is happening? And then the first Skrillex album started. Then he won a bunch of Grammys.
He's
and I was
massive,
just like,
yeah.
What?
Do you mean to tell me that Skrillex sung Emily, or is that a different singer?
That's the same singer.
Yeah.
That is, you could knock me over with a feather. I couldn't have, what?
Mhm.
That is such a like quintessential like emo sounding song too. You know, and like
it was that era,
Yeah.
the early 2000s, and then like up until like 2005.
Yeah.
It was like such a specific time.
Wow, who'd have thunk it? Skrillex.
Yeah.
How's he doing these days? Is he still?
When was
Great.
the last time you
Yeah.
talked to him? Like a billion years ago?
Talked to him a couple years, like a year ago, 2 years ago.
Well,
Yeah.
I stand corrected.
Well, and he just had in that moment of like, you know, Avicii and all the that whole house music, which obviously has been around forever, but like really had a mainstream moment. I was going to a lot of raves at that time,
Okay.
doing a lot of drugs, having
Yeah.
tons of fun.
When was
Yeah,
Dead
like,
Mouse? A little later, but whatever.
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
but like it's crazy that he not only was he talented at it, but he hit it at the perfect time where it was like that was palatable for huge audiences that it wasn't before.
I mean, that's Alie worked on when she we met in Australia, but she was tour managing a band, but she also when that band wasn't working, she would do festival setup and do festival production. She worked on Tomorrowland in Belgium. And she's just like, the production is crazy.
Yeah.
Like she goes, I get it.
Yeah, they really do the damn thing with those.
And the plur or whatever thing they do where they
Peace,
trade,
love,
they
unity,
trade
respect.
bracelets and
I was at at the Gorge, which I'm sure you've played many times.
I have not, never.
You've never played the Gorge?
No.
Oh wow, okay, so it's an amphitheater in Washington on the Columbia River. Beautiful, beautiful. I've been to a million shows there.
I've seen pictures of it. Yeah.
So I went to they were trying to like, let's bring house music outside. I don't know why. I'm like, this isn't a fun place to be doing these drugs. But one of the guys I was with painted on him plur on his chest, and then he got a sunburn. And his chest said plur for like a month, like in huge letters. And I'm like, I don't think that's what they meant. But anyway, that's my plur story.
Well, speaking of emo music, how do you like Emo Nite?
I loved Emo Nite.
It was so much.
Yeah.
Okay,
was that your first one?
Yeah. No, I came to Pappy and Harriet's.
Well, did you?
No.
You kind of vanished into the night.
I vanished into the night. Yeah. Well,
he
I
was there
like,
1 minute and gone the next.
I had like a little anxiety thing. Like a bunch of people were like kind of punishing me a little bit.
I get it.
But I was just like, I gotta get out of here.
That's my kind of exit.
Just into the night. It was pitch black, no self service. Just
that's when that night I was not quite myself. I got lost in the wilderness. It was a whole fucking thing.
Dana also vanished into the night.
The
but anyway,
personal life.
So that was the first one, and then the second one because TJ and Morgan asked you to DJ, but you were like, "Would you help me out?" And I was like,
I'm not gonna do that by myself.
we had so much fun.
It was great.
So fun.
It's so fun.
Yeah, no. So I meant the LA proper one. That was your first one there. And
my first real one. Yeah. The Pappy and Harriet's one was like, I gotta get out of here.
That was kind of similar, like to the one I did in Park City. It was really small and like more of a loungy kind of bar spot than like a huge. I mean, the one at Avalon in LA is just like it is insane.
It was great.
It's massive.
It was
I can't
fun.
believe they do that every single month. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, but we've also skirted right by Alie. Let's talk about your wife
let's talk
because
about
I'm sure
Alie.
I'm sure she's listening right now.
Alie
Hi,
Joe.
Hi,
Alie
Alie.
Joe.
Let's talk about her. How long you been married? You guys met and whatever that.
Married, like we haven't actually gotten married yet.
Well, but
she's like in my will and
Yeah.
everything, and she's my emergency contact.
Yeah,
So,
well, I mean, I would if I were to describe her, I'd be like, oh yeah, this is Wes's wife.
yeah, we just say white because
I always
fiance
think I always
sounds
call
so
her your wife,
dumb.
so-
Yeah, I do too. So
Yeah,
whatever.
and we've got a bunch of. I don't know. We'll do it at some point. But we met in Australia in 2012, and we're like boing at each other, and but we weren't. I was married, and she was just gotten out of a relationship, and then through the years, we've always checked in and be like, "Yo, you single? Nope. You single? No." And then finally, at I guess it was beginning of 2019, she was coming into LA to work, and I hadn't seen her in a while, and I went and stayed at the hotel. I went and saw her at the hotel that she was staying in, and I didn't leave for a month because she was working with Taylor Momsen was doing the Chris Cornell
That's
tribute
right. Yeah,
at the
She
Forum.
yeah.
And Taylor and Alie were on tour with Soundgarden when Chris killed himself. So they all kind of trauma bonded. And Taylor's range is similar to Chris's range. She's got kind of a deeper voice, and Chris had kind of a higher voice. Or just his voice was amazing. He could do anything. But so she sat in on a bunch of the Soundgarden songs for the tribute thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But
Taylor Momsen, by the way, if you know, Cindy Lou Who, also pretty reckless. The
And
sewer-
Gossip
Jenny
Girl.
from Gossip Girl.
Oh,
Yeah.
Gossip Girl. How could I forget?
Yeah.
She doesn't. Alie doesn't work with her anymore, or does she?
they're making a record right now, so
Oh, okay.
Allie's sort of. She goes and gets to, like, when somebody pushes somebody on a bike to get them started, and then goes, "You're doing it with no training wheels." She's the training wheels that starts tours, so she'll go out like for the first week and kind of make sure all the parts are moving.
Mhm.
And then she goes, "Okay, bye," and leaves. So she's
She's
sort of like a
part-time tour
consultant.
manager.
Yeah, she's kind of a consultant. She's sort of the pretty reckless whisperer. She like all their management goes, "Oh, we need Alie in on this because she can talk to them and work with them and knows what they mean and what they need." And she's just she's so good at logistics. Like, she runs our lives, and I'm just like, thank God. She's like, "No, I'm going to find this flight for less."
Love
And
it.
she does that kind of a thing. I'm going to use points for this, and
Do you feel that, you spent all these years sort of kind of missing each other, being like ships sort of passing in terms of like availability? Do you feel like the universe finally brought you guys together at the right time in life? Because maybe before it wouldn't have worked out, or it just would have been bad?
No. We missed out. We would have missed so much damage had we just gotten together years before.
Well, that's what I mean. So like, you feel like now was the
We
right
were
time.
late in getting together. Yeah. We've been together for 6 years now. But I just didn't leave the hotel, and her apartment in New York had just flooded. She had a pipe burst and everything she owned. She was a New Yorker for like a decade and was like, LA, ugh. When she got here, she's like, "This isn't a real city. It's just people in cars."
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I said, "Let's just move in with me. Let's just do this. Let's try it." And that was 6 years ago.
That's the universe, my friend.
That's right.
You guys, is your house finished?
I mean, we're doing landscaping and stuff like that, but I mean, for the most part, we're moved in.
How are her bees? I haven't heard about the bees in a while.
The bees are dormant because it's too cold up there. We just got snow the other day.
The fuck?
Snowed, yeah.
It was, well, your house is beautiful. I love it. Oh, something else when we were talking about their costumes of your, sorry, am I all over the place? Yeah.
I mean, we all
Hey,
are.
I'll
but
follow.
we're-
But you are a very skilled artist, aside from you creating your on-show costumes. What are we calling them? But like with your paintings are insane. They're incredible. I have a Wes Borland original, by the way.
Do you?
I do.
Wow.
It's gonna go up on the wall.
You have like an alla prima, which is that alla prima means all at once. It means you do a painting in one sitting. It's like an old Italian thing, but they're for practice. They're not really.
They're cool.
They're painting. I got stacks and stacks of just like nude models, like that are just painted with Michael Husser, who's a great painter that I learned a lot from, and Kevin Llewellyn, who's another really good painter. They would sort of host these like all night. Let's drink whiskey and coffee and paint a naked girl.
But they're just like, he doesn't want these huge canvases. But then you started doing the ladies.
Yeah.
When did those start?
Those started, I wanted to do a series of really oversized scale-wise, not oversized women, but oversized scale-wise paintings where there were women all sitting in the same position who had just either gotten annoyed and left dinner, or were outside who had just gotten an argument with their husbands or boyfriends or something.
That's
So it's
so much
them all
attitude.
taking a second.
I wish I had a talent that also I could do for funsies. Like, do you find that to be cathartic, painting, and something that's for you?
My ADHD is so bad. It was so funny. Alie said the other day, she goes, "If you were in any job besides the one you're in, you'd kill yourself." She was like, "You wouldn't be able to do it. There's no way you'd ever be in the corporate world."
No.
She was like, she was like, "I can't imagine you," but it works for what I do. But I also can like hyper focus where I can go for hours and work on one thing. And there's a feeling you get when you do that that people call flow, like flow state, where you just sort of, everything is amplified and your concentration is amplified. And at the end of the day, I feel like I accomplished something instead of just going like, I sat around and rotted all day.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's most of my days.
I think that also shows through because maybe what other people don't know is like you have pretty like your collection of, I don't know.
I collect a lot of things.
A lot of things. Like you have how many swords?
I don't know.
Definitely not a minimalist.
Ballpark.
50-ish?
Yeah.
55. But that's not including daggers and just other edged weapons.
And you made some.
Yeah, I blacksmith
Of course
for a while.
you did.
And
He blacksmiths as well. He paints.
Yeah.
You fucking whittled that. Like, what do you DoorDash also? Like on the side? Like, what don't you do?
I thought about doing
He
that.
can
That
make
would
a
be
really
funny.
great tiki drink, a painkiller.
Yeah, we made
dangerous.
painkillers. Yeah, I put a
But-
tiki bar in my studio, which is kind of a dangerous thing to do. But
Smart.
I like it.
I had somewhere
don't know.
I had to put my tiki stuff somewhere. So
But yeah,
Obviously.
you have an obscure collection of things. We don't need to talk about all of them because whatever. But I was telling
what don't you need to talk?
you don't want to share about some of the things in your collection.
There's some collection of that is in boxes that I won't bring out.
Well, yeah, and let's
That's
leave that up to their I love that. Like
Just
they're
leave
gonna
it
be
to
wondering what
imagination.
oddities you have.
But there's that show that I was watching on Discovery. I talked about it on the podcast. I don't know, some episodes back and told you about it. Called Oddities.
Yeah.
And I was telling Wes about this, like, oh my God, there's a show called Oddities. It made me think of you at the shop. And he's like, oh, I've been on an episode of that.
Yeah.
So of course you have. So
For skulls.
like you were going there to purchase something?
No,
Or
he
bring
came, the guy, the camera people and the host of the show came to my house, and that was part of an episode because the guy's from New York, but he was like, I'm making a trip out to LA to try to make some acquisitions. But,
Did they reach out to you?
Yeah.
Or okay.
They come, and I think I can say they sort of act like they're going to buy a skull, but they didn't really buy a skull.
What skull was it that you had?
They mostly wanted to talk about, I've got a 2,000-year-old Peruvian stretched head skull that where they bound
insane.
where the whole head is a cone, and they wanted to talk about that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And they didn't acquire it. You still have that?
I still have that. Adam from Tool and Danny Carey have the other two. There were three. And Adam's like, you can get a stretched head
So you
skull
have
from this
friendship
place.
skulls?
Friendship, yeah, we have friendship skulls. No, that skull actually might have caused an issue because I used to be with Yamaha Guitars. I'm with Jackson Guitars now, that's owned by Fender. Fender owns all these companies: Ovation, Guild, Gretsch, Jackson, Charvel, EVH. All these companies are all under the Fender thing. But for a while, I was with Yamaha, and they asked me if I wanted to do guitar clinics in Southeast Asia. And I was like, not really, but I'll figure out something. Where you just go and you talk about guitars, and people are like, play brick stuff. And then then they go, yeah. But I just did brought pedals. I made some drum and bass tracks that I just played and played guitar over, then talk and tell stories. But I got to start in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and they had me do weird things like host a battle of the bands of just not great bands.
No, of
I
course
was
not.
okay, that one. But I did meet a band, these people who had a bunch of friends that kind of grabbed me and showed me around KL in Malaysia and took me to a temple. And then I had a radio interview with this guy that they knew who was a radio host, but also a witch doctor. And I did
course.
As most radio hosts
Yeah.
are.
Yes.
yeah. But I did the interview with him and just, and then afterwards they were like, hey, this guy, Jake, he wants to talk to you. Jake, the witch doctor, DJ. But he goes, okay, so he goes, I can't see your face. He goes, you've got something on you.
Oof.
He goes, your
What?
face is it comes and
Distorted.
goes and it's distorted.
Yeah.
And he goes, where have you been? Have you picked something up somewhere? And I go, what do you mean? He goes, well, there's this thing that's a negative something is on you and it's attached to you. And I don't know how long it's been there. And he goes, but I can get it off of you. And I went, okay. Totally freaked out. I went, and he goes, come to my apartment tomorrow and we're going to get it off. And he was like, do you know where you might have? I go, well, I collect a lot of skulls. I got at least 6 skulls and a full skeleton and, a bunch of other weird stuff. And I told him about the Peruvian skull. I also got a skull that when it arrived, a spider that was that big crawled out of the eye one time. I was just I don't know where that came from.
Well, why?
Splat.
What is it about having an attachment that makes someone's face
I don't
not
know.
be-
Well,
He's-
it's kind of like the ring, that. That's an old adage of it. It distorts you because people who can read that energy can see it.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So I was so super freaked out in my hotel room that night, just going, and I don't know if I believe in this or not, but now that he's put this feeling on me, I feel like there is something. And I didn't sleep well. And the next day he texts me and he goes, okay, you have to go to the grocery store and buy 9 limes and also bring me $2.
He's like, we're making margaritas.
Yeah.
You were like, I'm going to get some salt just in case.
Yeah, I wish.
You know, when you're just out there traveling the world, living your best life, and you meet the hottest person ever, but you don't speak their language?
Like all the time.
How embarrassing.
Embarrassing. Couldn't be me. Want to know why?
Why?
Rosetta Stone.
Oh, the Rosetta Stone. That's the leading language learning program available on desktop and mobile and designed to fully immerse you into your chosen language for a more natural and effective learning experience. That Rosetta Stone?
Yeah, girl, that very Rosetta Stone. That's the one I'm talking about. With 30 years of experience, millions of users, and 25 languages offered, Rosetta Stone is the go-to language learning solution. We're speaking Spanish, we're speaking French, Italiano, German, Korean, Chinese, Japanese, Vietnamese, Dutch, and so much more. More.
That is so worldly of you.
I know.
Ow. And the best part, it feels so natural. Rosetta Stone immerses you in your new language naturally, helping you think and communicate with confidence. With no English translations, you truly learn to speak, listen, and think in your chosen language. And it's designed for long-term retention, so what you learn will stick with you.
Don't wait. Unlock your language learning potential. Meow. Disrespectfully listeners can grab Rosetta Stone's lifetime membership for 50% off. That's unlimited access to 25 language courses for life. Visit rosettastone.com/disrespectfully to get started and claim your 50% off today. Don't miss out. Go to rosettastone.com/disrespectfully and start learning.
I didn't know you also speak cat.
Meow.
I've struggled for years to find the right skin product for me, and I'm fed up with products on the market labeling themselves as clean or non-toxic, yet their ingredient list is so alarming.
Yeah, some skincare products are just like men, filled with lies and leaving you covered in hives. But fret no more. Purity Woods is here with a mission to provide people with the cleanest and most effective healthy aging and longevity products available.
All of their products are USDA certified, organic, non-GMO, free of anything artificial, free of toxic preservatives and synthetic additives like pesticides, chemical fertilizers, and dyes, parabens, and of course, is cruelty-free and never tested on animals.
Their age-defying Dream Cream, it's a game changer. It will make you look and feel like you've jumped back in time. Its powerful formula contains revolutionary maple leaf extracts, plus over 25 unique and potent ingredients that help eliminate fine lines, wrinkles, age spots, and uneven skin tone, because who wants that? Not I.
Mm-mm. It was formulated by skincare chemists at the top of their field to create a product that supports collagen and elastin production without irritation, drying of the skin, or hormone disruption.
If you're ready to detox your skincare routine of those hormone-disrupting synthetic chemicals that plague 99% of the skincare industry, but you don't want to compromise on results, I highly recommend you try out Purity Woods Age-Defying Dream Cream. And if you don't agree that it's the best skincare you've ever used, your purchase is protected by a 60-day happiness guarantee.
With every order, Purity Woods makes a donation to One Tree Planted, which is an incredible nonprofit that plants trees in need areas such as forests affected by wildfire. Not only are you doing a fantastic thing for your skin and your health, but you're also helping plant a tree where it's desperately needed.
Honestly, I've never seen a skincare product of this quality at this reasonable of a price point. And thankfully, the good people at Purity Woods have a special coupon code specifically for our listeners, so you can try it for yourself for 27% off today. Just go to puritywoods.com/DRF or enter DRF at checkout. That's PURITYWOODS.com/DRF or enter DRF at checkout.
So I go into his apartment. The people I'm hanging out with come with me, and I go into a back room and sit crisscross style on the floor up in front of him. And he does all these sort of incantations, and while he's doing it, he's weaving me this bracelet, and then he gives me a Chris knife, which is like a Malaysian, Indonesian, like squiggly bladed knife. And then he gives me this block of tree sap that you can light. That's like this incense that wards off evil. But while he's doing this, there's this scream from out in the living room, and the door, you can hear a door bang open. And they all said that they saw something go through the apartment and go out the door and open the door and leave. And he goes, so he's everybody's all freaked out. And he cuts up all the limes and he goes, you need to go back to your hotel with these limes. So at this point, it's 18 halves of lime. And he goes, you need to take a bath in them. And then you get them in a bag. And when you go to the airport tomorrow, you have to throw them in a river without looking. And he goes, that will completely seal the entity so it doesn't come back to you. And I'm like, this is crazy, but I'm going to do it anyway. So take a bath in the limes, get them in a plastic bag. And then, so the next morning I have a driver and I also have this Japanese guy who's like my handler or whatever, who's coming on we're flying to Indonesia and then we're flying to India. It's like Bangalore and New Delhi. But I go, okay, this is going to sound weird, but you got to pull over somewhere on the road, on the highway. So where a river is. And so we're going, and then there's a river. I was like, there's a river right there. So he pulls over on the side of a highway next to an overpass. And I grab the limes. I'm like, I'll be right back. And I run through this village with like little naked kids covered in dirt and chickens running around. And I'm like running through this village and I run down the bank and I go hold the bottom of the bag and go whoop over my shoulder and don't look. And I hear him go splash in the river. And I get back in the car and I go to Indonesia.
And then since then, everything was fine.
Peachy.
I
mean, it was fine before.
I absolutely believe that. There are people who have those gifts and like in the same way that, what's it called that Zach Baggins has? It's like the diptyque box or the dookie.
Oh,
hold
on.
That mean box. It's like it's touched by evil. Like, what the fuck is it called? It's a dookie. It's something weird, but like just like the Annabelle doll and all like certain objects you attach.
Are you talking about the little electronic box that they hear, like a spirit box that they hear voices through?
No.
Okay.
It's an evil entity is like sealed into it, or it's something that it transfers if you touch it. I so believe that. So I bet it was something that you've just come across in your time that was really old and had some bad energy attached.
Yeah, I don't know.
Dybbuk.
Yeah.
A Dybbuk box.
Dybbuk box.
Let's call it a diptyque box. That's fancier.
No, because I like diptyque candles.
Okay.
So let's not ruin it.
Well, and the tree sap thing, I had a really, really stubborn incubus once that was attached to me and attacking me.
What made you think that was happening? Like what were the symptoms?
Oh, I didn't think I knew because I was attacked many times in the night and I woke up with like double the size of my hand, red handprint on my thigh, and all this stuff was happening. And
did it look like a human handprint?
It did, but it was like very large and strange, like something like kind of like uncanny valley, like something wasn't right with it. And at the time, like was not doing well. It was in 2020, so emotionally, I think I was at a vulnerable state, and I see ghosts and whatever. And so I just think it was like a perfect storm of things. But one of the things that I used when I was trying to banish it was juniper. So it's like, it's like sage is for neutral, to cleanse a space. Juniper is like, get the fuck out of my house. And he didn't take very kindly to that. So
so it worked.
It took.
You didn't have to go to Malaysia and see a witch doctor.
I did not have to see a witch doctor.
How convenient.
A Reiki person helped me finally banish it. And to banish it, you have to stand up to it because they don't have power in this realm unless you give it to them, which is through fear. So low vibrational energies don't have power in this dimension. Yeah. So, but when you're scared, they feed on it. So
I'm still not sure if I believe any of this stuff. I mean, I believe you, but I don't like. There's no I don't know.
Well, it's very strange.
Well, it's very hard to prove. Even if so many people have so many experiences that are unexplainable or wild, there's still like no way to prove it. So listen, you just gotta believe it or not. I don't know. It started because I've told this story in the pod, but I was talking to Katie's mom about our ghosts from our past. And then it started really shortly after this. I had set up a camera in my house and my camera started picking up all this shit. And then one night when I knew it didn't feel like a normal ghost that I was familiar with, this like demonic growl was picked up, and it was there's nothing that could have made that noise. And it was the middle of the night. I have it still. I show it to people. It was like, it gives me chills to this day. But I was like, oh, this isn't my normal audience. This is someone who's a little angry. Anyway, so that's that. Well, good for you. I'm glad the witch doctor helped you.
Yeah, me too.
I bet he can see you clearly now. I bet he watches this podcast. He seems, witch doctors tend to love disrespect.
What's up, Jake? Thank you.
Do we want to do daddy list?
Yeah, let's do daddy and basement just right here. Let's
shit. Okay.
Guess first.
I wrote it.
Who's in your daddy list? I have to write it down because my goldfish brain. But...
Oh, that's my valet ticket.
Oh, okay. Love.
Daddy list. All right.
Oh, you wrote it on physical paper? Okay, cute. That's a first.
Yeah. For some reason, and I don't know when this started, but like I really like Leslie Bibb, the actress. because she's sort of obscure. She was kind of obscured. She was in the, the Ricky Bobby, the Talladega Nights movie or whatever. But I started using her name like a swear word. I go, Leslie Bibb. Or I also used to do Eliza Dushku. Just, I don't know, just for some reason. But then Leslie Bibb became I started seeing her around LA and I'd go, Leslie Bibb. Sorry, Sushi Katsuya. And I was like, oh, Leslie Bibb. She was waiting for the bathroom. But it became a funny thing. And then I have another side project called Big Dumb Face. And there's a song called The Possession of Leslie Bibb on the record. I don't know. For some reason, so my daddy list goes out to Leslie Bibb for being on the new season of White Lotus.
Yeah.
I haven't started it yet. Did you watch it?
There's only one episode.
Is it good?
There's one episode.
Okay.
I think
start it.
I mean, it was good, but I think it seems like it's going to be good.
It's going to be good.
Season,
okay.
Yeah. Most people don't like the new intro song.
But that's okay. Number one in my basement.
We'll get to that. Do you have any more daddy?
Yeah.
Okay, go. Yeah. Start. Keep going.
So another daddy is plutonic male-female relationships because I don't really like I don't like gel with guys. I don't like sports that much. What am I going to do? Talk to him about the new fabric I'm going to use on my costumes? So I tend to thrive more with females. So
you're a girl's girl.
You're a girl's girl. You're like Caleb. Caleb is desperado for girl time. He loves to.
He wants you.
I like Caleb a lot.
No, you and Caleb are the same energy.
Two birds of a feather.
Yeah, you want to know the goss. You want to get in on it. You're like, I don't want to, that.
I think Flora got up last night to go to the bathroom and Caleb slid over and he's like, girls,
he's like, so
what's going on? What's the tea? So yeah, I like that's a good one.
I'm also late to the party, but Trixie and Katya watching Netflix shows.
Mm-hmm.
I
love their podcast.
Yeah, it was really funny.
They're so funny.
So good.
Then my last daddy goes out to Asteroid 2024 YR4. They're looking for these things all the time. And then they went, oh wait, we just found.
Is that the one that's now a 3.1% chance of hitting Earth?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I am rooting for her.
Yeah, I'm like, let's fucking go.
But it's only 300 feet across, and it's probably going to hit in the southern hemisphere in the ocean.
Oh.
Hopefully.
So do you think tidal wave, they keep calling it a city killer? And I was like.
If it hit a city, it would be a big problem. But most of the Earth is not cities. So the chances are even smaller of it hitting the city. But I just shout out to that asteroid.
I love that asteroid.
Yeah.
Okay, those are excellent. Thank you. We love someone who comes on and is prepared with a great daddy list. So thank you so much.
She just told me last night. So
I told her to tell you, to be honest.
Okay.
Okay. No, what's yours?
I only have one daddy.
Tell me.
And it's inspired by last night. I love a bidet and a nice toilet. Those toilet seats from Japan that are they do all the things. They'll play music. They got the jets that go to the front and the back, and also a little heat dryer.
I don't like a bidet, but I'm pretty lonely right now. So who knows? Maybe we'll see what happens.
Love a bidet so much that when I'm on it, I'll touch my toes. I love it so much. Caleb and I talked about this last night for 20 minutes because he's the same way. He's like, I take that to the full, crank it all the way up.
The toilet that you are not one to stretch either. So that's telling me something. That toilet last night, the restaurant we were at, it was so warm. It felt like a hot stone. They were really trying to prove a point with the temperature of that toilet. I don't know.
It's called Steak 48.
Steak 48 in Beverly Hills. They were really...
Well, when you go to Japan, you're going to... All the toilets are like that.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where you are.
Okay.
And I like it. I like it when I go into a bathroom and I'm greeted by the toilet. Toilet seat comes out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think those are pretty fucking daddy. And I think a bidet is even more daddy. Because at the end of the day, nothing's going to clean you better than a nice jet stream.
They kind of scare me. But any water coming from a toilet, even if it's sanitary, kind of weirds me out.
No,
it's usually a different water line.
It's for me.
It's not coming from the toilet. It's coming from a different line.
Have you ever gone downstairs in a European bathroom and the sink is built into the top of the toilet? It's like a double thing where in there one tiny little bathroom. I was like, gross. Even though it's coming from a different line, it's still...
Yeah, the idea of it is.
Yeah.
I always think that way too when people have and I know this is very common in Europe where they have their laundry and everything in the kitchen, next to the dishwasher. That's weird to me.
But kind of makes sense.
I don't... Doing my laundry in the kitchen...
And those are combo washer dryers.
Yeah.
For the ones that even have them, I'm like, I don't know that I could live in Europe for the sole fact that I already fucking hate doing laundry and I have a nice setup. And I'm like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I'm just going to do a little dishes.
I also hate doing dishes.
Underwear, yeah.
Washing them with my hands, no.
Okay, who's on your daddy list?
Flirty fireman. In general. Okay, so I'm sure this happens to you all the time. The other day, I was walking by a fire truck and they were sitting there in the grocery store, getting food, but there was like 3 up front. And I looked and I kind of went to smile and they all went at the same time. And I was like, hey, boys.
Yeah.
I love the way that they'll just like honk their horn for you. And they're just and it's totally harmless, but so like, it just makes my day. I love a flirty fireman.
Same.
So that's, again, I'm sure this is a shared experience for
Do
you.
you like flirty firemen? Well, wait.
Try next time giving him give him a little wave. Just be like, hey, by the way, do you recognize this guy? And then pull up you in your cool costume and then be like, yeah, they would go 6 to midnight for you.
I've only dropped my name one time and it was in Canada trying to get right after the border, trying to order at a McDonald's drive-through off the bus. And I was like, the dude from Limp Bizkit. They were like, yeah, right. You can't order.
Like walking
through that. They were like, you can't order
That's the
walking
one
through the
time
drive-thru.
did it work out?
No, they said get out of here.
Like, you gotta come inside.
My second one is Sam Neill, famous from Jurassic Park, the main guy, has a TikTok and it is the most delightful. He lives on a farm. He's always showing us his ducks and his bees, and Alie would love it. He just like narrates things and he's like, I'm worried about my ducklings. Let's go look for them. And it's just like, of course, this is where you are. It doesn't surprise me that him in real life is just, and he looks good for whatever big age he is.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I was like, raw, next question. Anyway, love his whole whimsical scene. Okay, who's in your basement?
Also, Event Horizon. He was very scary in Event Horizon with Lawrence Fishburne.
I mean, I've seen that, but I don't know.
It's been forever. Okay,
cosmic horror.
That's also, we all have a shared horror movie thing, which we love. You always send me scary movies. I always appreciated. Okay, who's in your basement?
The White Lotus music. We've lost the
people were disappointed,
but they're using sort of like a Thai instrument that I think they thought replaced it, but there's a sort of a vibrato with it, but it doesn't. I'm missing that from.
Okay. Yeah, you keep waiting for it to like really start hitting, and it never does.
I have a couple of musician performer basement things.
Yeah.
Lay it on us.
Ego risers. Do you know what these are?
No.
They're the little platforms that go over the monitors that bands will go and stand on for a second.
I think these are so common now.
Yeah.
It's a little stage that's 1 foot long, 1 foot taller than the big stage. You're already up and bands I've seen bands all be on them at the same time. It's just like, why don't you just make the stage a little higher?
That's so true.
So you're up on a little thing. You're already on stage, and now you've just got a smaller footprint that you have to move in. So you can't move. You're just like, I'm up on the ego riser. I'm down. I'm up on the ego. So anyway, complaint.
Okay, that's a good one.
Is that what they're called? Ego riser?
Ego riser, yeah.
Well, it reminds me of at Emo Nite at the Avalon, the way when you get up on the thing,
That's
it's like
different.
you have this little no, it is, but I'm just saying I'm scared to move because you're in this like small real estate.
You have a long way to fall too.
Yeah, so but those I'm like,
there's a couple times where I've had a little too many shots of tequila and I'm a little wobbly up there.
Yeah, absolutely.
The second problem is I don't like when people plan to break a guitar on stage. It should just be something that happens in the moment. But when sometimes people, you'll see them change out to like a cheaper guitar at the end of the show, and then they boom and break it, and they know it's coming.
I hate to see that in general. I'm like, that feels wasteful.
Do you break guitars?
Every single guitar I have has been broken at one point and put back together.
Oh,
but I've always done it in like it's happened accidentally, or I've thrown it to my guitar tech and he's missed it, or I've just like tackled my rig. I used to be a lot angrier before Alie. I used to do all kinds of. That's the thing, is when you finally meet the right person, everything just goes, and I can't even do like my other band anymore because I can't write lyrics that I hate people anymore. So it's really weird. But
it's just reality TV for you.
Paper towels. I have a problem with my mom's paper towels.
Your mom? Oh, why?
She buys the cheap paper towels that you need 9 of the same paper towel to equal 1 bounty.
Right.
People stop doing that. You're going to rip through those rolls and they're $1 cheaper. Just get bounty. And also the little corner that tears off sometimes. I can't stand the little triangle at the bottom.
That's a good one.
Okay.
That is true. They don't tear as easy. And then you have like that weird, like little pointy thing.
And the last thing is, I just thought of it this morning because we were blackout curtains in our hotel, and they put one of the little benches at the end of the bed.
Oh.
White sheets and a black bench at the end of the bed. So I got up at like 5:30 to run and pee real quick and just all over it.
Did you catch a piece?
Yeah, it was not good. And I was like, are you okay? And I was like, just fucking Why would people fucking black benches at the end?
Well, you also like have been through a lot in the last couple of weeks. You took a little tumble.
Oh, yeah, out of the hot tub.
It's like, why do I have a Band-Aid on my leg? Yeah.
We had fun that night, whatever.
That was a great night. Anyway.
Can I have that paper, please?
Yeah.
We should start just collecting. I think we should put it in a little frame and like stick it somewhere. Start collecting things from
I mean, I have
people
other things. I also, on my basement, there's all these plane crashes. Why have there been plane crashes just like out of nowhere?
Oh, maybe because that dickhead is taking resources from the FAA. I don't want to get into that right now, but yeah, absolutely. No, I just, this is so cute and your handwriting is better than mine. So we're going to keep this and do something with him. Not sure why.
We're going to do some voodoo shit with it.
Right now it's a flower.
Okay. Voodoo shit. Just kidding.
What's your? Yeah, I'm gonna rub it with lime.
My basement is Disneyland. The sheer amount of people that were there on a Tuesday night, I come to realize that there was also like schools are out this week for, I don't know, because the school. Why is no one in school? The school's out this week. Why? Anyway, didn't realize that. There was like the most amount of people there, and I won't get claustrophobic in like a tiny tight space, but I will in a crowded room, like or like when there's just a ton of people around that I can't move freely or walk freely, like that will drive me absolutely up the wall.
So you could go spelunking.
Spelunking?
That's people who explore caves. Spelunker.
I'm not really. I'm also like kind of more of an indoor gal in general. Too,
That's pretty indoors.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll watch a documentary on it. That's but yeah, no. Disneyland is an absolute fucking shit show. The thing is that they've also like raised their prices on tickets. So I think if you're going to charge more, the experience better be a little bit better. Like, I don't know, reducing the, max capacity. It's about 6 billion right now on any given day. Like, it is absolutely mental. It was like 9 o'clock on a Tuesday and it was just the most full you've ever seen it.
How many rides did you get to do?
Well, that was the other thing is like, now that I have like a pass or whatever, like we can go and like walk around or like get food or I don't know, maybe get a ride if it makes sense. But like, we were there for like Fleur wanted to go for her birthday, and so like there was absolute rides we had to catch. So it was like that was becoming a real challenge because we were trying to plan out like the lightning passes, and then it just added another element of like stress. But it was still like a really good time.
Season passes are back.
The thing is, you can't just get one anytime. They only like let them on sale for certain like a week at a time. I know, and I'm like, I was pissed because at that moment I was like, I spent so much money, and this is a fucking joke. You also can't like you have to make a reservation to go. It's just a nightmare. And
I
also,
wish there were less kids at Disney. I know that it's like kind of the point, but just I wish there were like
less strollers.
Like, yeah, I don't want that.
Also, my gripe with Disney is they have 1-ply toilet paper, which is
paper towel thing.
Paper
that's
towel?
what. So that the entire day, like I came home and my bits were shredded because from wiping with a 1-ply.
Starts driving around town looking for a bidet so you can touch your toes.
We just went to Big Bear. It was the same thing. We got a couple of friends of ours and us went up to Big Bear, and it was you couldn't park anywhere, couldn't go anywhere. It's like President's Day weekend or whatever. Where
nightmare.
Kids.
They ruin everything. Disneyland. Like, why is it appropriate for have kids?
Yeah, I don't know. Who does people think they are? Is that it?
Yeah.
I have 2. Laszlo, my cat, is in the basement for her first time ever. We had a really traumatic experience driving to San Diego to visit Katya. She's really good in the car. I put her in her thing. I buckle her in. She doesn't make a peep. But she started crying, and it was like in a way that seemed, I was like, something is wrong. And I got stuck in traffic, and I was trying to pull off the freeway. She threw up all over herself, and I was like, what is wrong? And it scared me. I like got in the back. I for one time in my life, I'm always very prepared, did not have fucking pet wipes on me. I had nothing. So I had to take out of my bag. I had a water bottle. I put my socks on my hands. I put water on it and gave her a little cat bath. And then I had to bathe her again when we got to San Diego. But I felt so bad. So I get out of the car and I shake all over her beautiful barefoot dreams receiving blanket. I like shake it off. Sorry, this is TMI. It was chunky. And I saw this big thing and I was like, what is that? I thought it was a feminine hygiene product. Look down. It was very much a blonde hair tie, the kind that I use. So she ate that, swallowed it whole. I'm so grateful that she threw it up because thank God, like cats, they need surgery and can die. But now I'm really scared. She might have eaten other things. And I'm like, girl,
it's likely.
I broke a hot sauce bottle the other day and I thought I cleaned everything up and she came out and she started, and I grabbed her mouth.
Licking hot sauce?
No, chunk of glass. I pulled right out of her mouth. So anyway, she's sending me to the loony bin because it was so stressful. And then I felt so bad and guilty. But anyway, kind of the basement. Then
you're in the basement or who's in the basement?
No, she is for eating a fucking hair tie. Okay. I get that you're a cat, but my God, what about that? Was that delicious? Was that yummy?
Was it dipped in tuna fish?
Also, she's so tiny. I'm like, how did you even? And then someone responded. I put a story about it and was like, oh, my mom's cat ended up having surgery because of that. And they found 17 hair ties in this cat's stomach.
Ugh.
So anyway, I hope she's okay. The other thing is commercials. I think I've talked about it before, but I'm currently using Raleigh's Peacock, so I, shouldn't be complaining. But I'm watching Yellowstone. Finally, I'm on season 3. It's very good. Katie was right. And the amount of commercials is just egregious. But luckily, I just mute it out of protest and TikTok for 60 seconds during the commercial. So it's kind of the best of both worlds, but I prefer not to.
Cheap is cheap.
I know, I'm like, brokey. I'm like, it's not even my fucking account. Anyway, so that's that. That's my basement.
That'll do her.
That'll do. That'll do, pig. That'll do. I think that's the episode.
I think that's the episode.
We've really, ground people down today.
I know.
That's it.
Thank you so much for being here.
What I love, by the way, if no one has ever told you, you have a great podcasting voice.
Oh.
You have a great radio. I would love to listen to your
that's
voice.
nice.
So, if you ever feel like doing another talent.
It happened to me one time in Brighton, England. This lady with this husky voice, this elderly lady went, honey, I just want you to know if you ever want to get into podcasting or radio, you got the voice.
You do.
Did she? Sounds like she has the voice
yeah,
too.
that's what she did.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
She was a voiceover person in Brighton, England, or used to be. Anyway,
well, it's better than her saying you have a face for radio, because you know what I mean.
Thanks.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks so much for coming. We love you.
That flew by.
See you later tonight also.
Yeah. I got to play.
You do? Which by the time this comes out, Flora will know, so it doesn't matter. Anything else to add, Miss Melanie?
That's all.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Babe, you're going to see the power of women. Like, disrespectfully.